Okay. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you so much. And once again, good morning, everyone. Now, hello, everyone from wherever you are joining from around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And you're welcome to the program, Demystifying AI and Data Science. My name is Joshua Tete Ayayi. Yeah, hello, that's me, so that's me. But I'll be putting my camera off for the sake of better internet connections to help all of us. So yeah, that's me. And once again, I welcome you all. We'll be starting in a jiffy. And I see lots of people joining from Lagos. I think Jonathan mentioned that earlier. We have Mustafa from Tanzania, um, Abdul Rauf, if I got that correctly, from Lagos, Nigeria. Nuruddin also from Lagos, Nigeria. So thank you all so very much. We have Mustafa from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, I presume. Then Daniel Boise, also welcome, Daniel Boise. Possibly if you can change your name. I think your name is still in Kuruka Kalu. If you can change it, I'm sure it was because you joined by the LinkedIn the link on LinkedIn. So kindly change your name so that we can identify you. And Daniel Boise is one of our panelists today. He works with Zummit Africa as its CTO. He is a data science engineer, a data scientist, and AI engineer, and an overall tech guru, or what we say, a full stack developer. So that's Daniel Boise for you. We also have Eric. Yes, Eric, you introduce yourself first. Eric from Poland. Nice to meet you again. So once again, thank you all for coming. We'll be starting in a jiffy. But I mean, far from posting where you are coming from, you can post a fun fact about your country, or what people don't know. And one thing I can say right now for sure is Ghana and Nigeria, as you people know, are always at war. We call it violence. And right now there are two big mamas. Who are battling, who are in a rap battle between Ghana and Nigeria right now. We have Big Ivy from Ghana and we have Mama Dollars from Nigeria. And it's so interesting, guys. You guys should go on social media and then just type Big Ivy or Mama Dollars, and you would see what I'm talking about. Very beautiful. Ghana and Nigeria always bringing the fun to the world.
It's interesting, Joshua. It's really interesting how there is okay. I don't know if everyone is conversant with Nigerian and Ghanaian jollof. So that has been the longest standing debate in Africa.
Yes, yes, seriously. that beef never ends. Really, it doesn't really end. It's always about Ghana jollof and Nigeria jollof, right?
So I think, do we have anyone in the audience who has tried both Nigerian jollof and Ghanaian jollof? Maybe one of our audience can help us settle that.
I can, but I don't think I'll go into that.
Yes, I knew Daniel was going to say something like this, because he has actually had the opportunity to taste from both sides, but of course he wants to stay neutral.
Okay, please, like Joshua said, Daniel is bearing Nkiru Kakalu and some other people are bearing Nkiru Kakalu. So please change your names so that we can know where you're coming from.
Yes, someone named Nkiruka. I don't know if it's the real Nkiruka though. It says, live from Lagos, Nigeria. Niger Jollof is the best. Yeah. Of course. You guys do pretty well with your cooking, but Charlie, Ghana Jollof over everything, man. Ghana Jollof. all day, representing all day, man. All day. Daniel, I don't want to drag Daniel into this because he'll be in hot water, so I'll leave him for now. So if there's any fun fact about your country, something you'd want to tell us about Tanzania or any other country you're joining from, yes, you're welcome. Maybe even about your clan. It may not be about the whole country, but about your clan, right? It is something that you are welcome to do. For example, the tribe that I come from, the Yowe tribe, is so nice to know that the language is similar to that of the German language, so much so that when the Germans came to the Gold Coast, they got the alphabet for us. So apparently, the Ewe language is studied as an international language in Germany. And Ewe is not just spoken in parts of Ghana. You have Togo, Benin, and then parts of Nigeria as well. In fact, it is part of the Gbi languages, which comprises the Ga, Dangbe, Ewe, and some other languages in Nigeria as well. So yeah, that's one fact about the tribe I come from. Oh, nearly 30% of Tanzania is national parks. Wow, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I wish we had the same over here. Unfortunately, in Ghana, all our forests or reserves are being lost. In fact, everywhere that wasn't designated as a forest reserve has been lost. And right now, we are degazetting our forests also. So there you go. A very, very sad situation in Ghana. Yorubas have the highest number of twins in Africa. Wow, I am a twin. Whoa, Tao. Wow, this is nice. This is beautiful. Wow, highest number of twins in Africa. Oh, now.
So,
my
Joshua,
mom is a twin.
let me help you a
Actually,
little
but
with
unfortunately, I'm not a twin. I'm not a twin.
Josh, can I
But
just help you a little
nice
with
to know.
some
Nice to
history?
know. So,
Hello, Joshua.
okay. Sure.
Yeah, so concerning what I was said, so there is a fable that it is
yes,
yam.
go ahead.
It's a particular yam in one area in Nigeria that people eat that makes them give birth to twins. I don't know how true though, but they say it's a particular yam. If you go in that town and you eat the yam, you get twins. In fact, I think it's one of the things we should demystify aside from AI.
Oh. Wow. Wow. Yes. We have to demystify it. We have to demystify it. Wow, that's good to know. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. Then we'll come and eat yum in that town. We'll come and eat yum in that town. Okay. Yes. So we're just about getting started. Along the line, I'll be passing out fun facts. So once again, let me introduce myself. Joshua Tete Ayayi. I work with Zummit Africa as part of the team. I am a pre-sales analyst. And then you also have Jonathan Inudume, who is joining us. He is the CEO of Zummit Africa. We also have a lot of Zummit Africa's teams. We're team members with us in Kurika, with us as well. And then, of course, the panelists, we have Daniel Boidi, who is CTO with Zummit Africa. He's an AI engineer and a data scientist, all around full stack developer. And we also have I'm coming just a second. I want to get the names right. I read the name somewhere. I forgot. Yes, I got it. So we have Noel. Noel is joining us from HAIX. He's an NLP and SD engineer, and very good in the neural language processing sector of AI. And also we have Kalebu joining us. He's the founder of Neurotech Africa. He's the founder of Neurotech Africa. So they both, in fact, all our panelists are big gurus in the data science and AI industry. And today, the main topic is to demystify AI and data science. We've heard a lot of things, in fact, seen a lot of movies. And I must say, personally, the first movie I saw was one that robots were taking over the world. I think Will Smith acted that movie where a doctor made a robot, and that robot started to think and to feel, and these robots had to take over the world. And that has been the narrative, even in the movie industry. And this has gotten to the real world where a lot of people are afraid. Personally, I do not like the AI on my phone to be telling me things. So I'm looking for something on Google and I say it out loud, and you hear, oh, this is that and that and that. And I'm like, hey, shut up. I'm not comfortable with that at all. And I'm sure a lot of us, even though we know that most of these things are myth, are not comfortable. But beyond that, how can AI help us to deliver sustainable development in the world globally? How in uses of delivering healthcare, sustainable healthcare, how can the data, the science of the data, help us to do that in agriculture, in delivering, fighting against climate change? So these are some of the things we want to look at, and how you can get started, go from zero, knowing nothing about AI and data science, and to a full developer and implementer of AI and data science technologies. First, want to hear from our panelists. Hello, Daniel. Kindly give us a shout out if you can hear me.
Yeah. Hello, Joshua. I can hear you loud and clear. Before then, I want to say hi to Pravin.
Great.
Pravin is the CEO and founder or co-founder of Zummit Info Labs. Hi, Pravin.
Hey, hi. How are you
I hope
guys?
you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Great. Nice to have you with us, Pravin. Nice to have you with us. And then I want to go to Noel. Hello, Noel.
Hey, Joshua, how's it going? Can you hear me clear?
Yes,
am I audible?
yes, I can hear you
Great.
clearly.
Hey,
I can hear you.
hi, Jonathan. Hi, Praveen. Nice to meet you guys again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. Nice to meet you, long back. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. And the way I
nice
met Praveen and Jonathan is through Zummit Info Labs. I was an intern there, and I learned a lot of my skills from there. So I'm always grateful to Praveen and Jonathan. Yeah.
Hi, Noel. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Jonathan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Welcome.
Great, and nice to see the connections from Zummit Info Labs, and we have Zummit Africa, and we have Zummit Germany, and we keep on growing. Nice. And Kalebu, I don't know, kindly forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, and please feel free to correct me. Kalebu, if you're around, let us hear from you. Hello, Kalebu. Hello. Okay, we can still start and then wait for Kalebu whilst he rectifies his. And so first of all, the first question that, yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So I was saying my name is Caleb Gorugano. From Tanzania. So same wise, my involvement with AI and data science began from watching a movie, and from that day I said I want to do this. And then nowadays it became my career. Yeah, I'm an AI expert, and I bootstrap a startup called Untitled Africa, where we heavily focus on creating a conversational AI for businesses. So, yeah, that's me.
Great. So happy to have you with us and to join the discussion. So I want to start with you, Caleb, straight up. And the first thing we would want to ask is, what is data science? What is data science?
Okay. What is data science? In a nutshell, I would say data science is like is more of statistics. Like you take the general statistics and then you put some computer using computer tools to do statistics. So that's what I think in a nutshell all the science is about. So that's from my side. Hi, Joshua. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we were able to hear you, but I think
Joshua,
Joshua
you're
is
muted.
I think he went off. Oh, he's in. Okay. Joshua, if you are in, we can hear you.
Yes. Sorry, my network was on the fritz again. Apologies for that. So yes, I think you were on the floor about data science when I left.
Yeah, so like what I was saying, so I think from my side, if I think of the science, there's so many involved in the field of data science. So hello.
Caleb.
So I was saying,
Yes.
yeah. So I was saying like from my perspective, the science is so huge now nowadays. And to simplify in a nutshell, in simple words, from my side is like what the science do now is work that used to be done by statistician, but nowadays is that we do that with computer tools. So nowadays you don't have to be a statistician to do the science. Like there's tools which are like can simplify the process of doing something with data. So in a nutshell, I think it's applying these computer tools to crunch the data.
Great. Thank you very much. And applying or using computer tools to crunch the data, or to be able to put the data into perspective, something that we can translate. Fine, thank you. Noel, hello, Noel. If you can hear me, what is artificial intelligence?
Well, artificial intelligence is the ability to build a computer system on a system that can mimic what a human does. That's the initial first step that can do it on its own. And further down the road, the ability to perform a task better than a human being. And for that, it is a certain, so AI in computer science terms is more of a set of procedures that together work sequentially in order to perform and to successfully finish a particular task. That's what AI is. And I mean, the scope of AI is limitless. It could be a very small thing to robots that you watch an iRobot. Yeah, it could reach there definitely. So yeah, that's what AI is, bro.
Great. Thank you so very much for that answer. And Daniel, would you kindly tell us the difference between AI and data science? Are they all one and the same thing? Are they that different? And if so, what is the difference? What links the two?
Yeah, so AI and data science are very close. Let me put it that way. Data science basically involves extracting like insights from data that is used to power like data-driven decision making, right? While AI involves mostly using machines to perform like actions that were considered human level. So for example, the ability to think, to translate a language, or to speak a natural human language. Okay. Now, the two involves data. Okay, that is one thing they both have in common. But to train a machine to perform a human level task, you need data. Okay. And data science is so much involved with data, crunching it, analyzing it to make to inform decisions. Okay. So the two involves data. That is what they have in common.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's great. So it's basically the two. Data science is basically about the data, and obviously AI utilizes data to be able to make intelligent decisions, predictions. So if like you were saying, human level actions like thinking and performing some tasks, what do you think? Would AI, wouldn't it take over the world?
Yeah, so like Noel said, that is a possibility. We are not ruling that out, right? It is possible that AI can take over the world, and take over the world as in perform better in some of the tasks that humans can do now. Okay, but we are not there yet. We are close, but we are not there yet.
Okay.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, come in.
Yeah.
You can come in.
So the possibility of AI taking over the world is imminent for sure. And that's the reason why right now the current research is towards explainable AI. The biggest problem with AI is it is a black box. So we know what the data that we feed in, we know the result we want, but we have no idea how it works. It's similar to the human brain. We know how we know the different hemispheres and everything, but we don't know exactly how it works at an ingrained level. So the current situation is right now we can't understand how AI works. So we don't know how what it can do in the future. So the current scope of research right now is explainable AI, so that we can understand how an AI model thinks, and then through that we can prevent the case where it possibly maybe takes over the world. So yeah.
Okay. And thank you for that, because that was leading to my next question. If it was going to get there eventually, then how can humans cope? And I think you have done justice to that. But then again, if AI, assuming that I work in a company and I do manual tasks for the company, and they employ an AI model, right, that is able to do all these things, post on the internet for them, be able to disaggregate the data on social media, look at who is buying what, and then where their marketing should go to next, where the most sales are coming from, and all of this. If an AI is doing that, then as a social media manager, am I still needed in the workplace? And this is to Calebo. This is to Calebo.
Okay. So the way I think this question to me is poses a question like, as we as AI designer, like our AI engineer, we should really focus on creating tools which can argument. For example, if you have an AI that can automate some of it, maybe you can have like some part is not AI, but also some AI which is really making the automation in the maybe social media management. So I think leaving entirely everything to AI is a good idea. But I think what you can do is empower the social media manager to automate all the mundane tasks and focus on the, because in the end of the day, AI doesn't know the context well about what it is doing. I mean, it understands the pattern maybe and what you've trained on, but it doesn't understand from the way we do. I mean, we know what social media do. So I think it's good if these tools are created in a way they can be like augment the work that is done by social media manager. So so from my side, I think not only to social media management, to other kind of tasks, even if it's hospital screening, if it's like anywhere we're creating AI, there's some area where maybe we might entirely replace like a person who was working there. But I think in most cases, AI is coming as to empower us or to augment us so that we can focus on the task which need us the most. Like, but all these mundane tasks we can do with AI. So the same way I think it works with programming, like Copilot. So Copilot can write your, I mean, they say it can write there, but they can't write your app, but it helps you in the process. Like, you know, you can write a comment, you know what you're doing, but it's helping you speed up the process. So it's augmenting your work. And I believe the same is going to happen maybe on other area that AI is going to affect, with few exception of area which are going to be completely automated.
Oh, okay, great. So basically, then we are not going to be redundant, but it's going to free us up to take over the complex tasks or the important things in the workspace. That is a great answer. But with everything we know, everything has a good side and a bad side. So Noel, please. Can you tell us what are some of the pros and cons of AI?
Yeah, sorry. My phone is on mute. Yeah, so some of the pros, well, you just mentioned that you're a social media manager, right? So I work at a company called Hyax, and we build a sentiment analysis machine. So one of the maybe the best use cases at a particular instant in time, you can understand what everyone's thinking, what the people are thinking. You can get all their feedback. You can get insight as to how the population thinks and the people think, and you can give them what they require in order to get better. That is the biggest pro of AI. Whereas just people in general can't do that. You need a system that does that, and AI helps with that. And the cons, well, the thing is, again, as I come back to the explainable AI, the thing is we don't understand it we don't understand it clearly. We don't know how it works. We just know that we feed an input, we get an output, but we don't know how it's processing the data on the inside. And that's why that could lead to implications which could be detrimental to society. It could lead to destruction, etc. So those are the pros and cons. And of course, there's always data privacy issues that have arisen. I mean, even with Facebook that collects a lot of data, people are just not comfortable sharing that amount of data with them. And so that also is a downside to AI, because you require that amount of data in order to generate the insights. So there's always a trade-off between the pros and cons. It just depends on the use case. Yeah.
Okay, great.
One thing I would add there, I think this is one of the issues, bias machine. So AI is coming bias machine because we exist in the world where it's not a perfect world where we exist. Like there's issue of like racial, gender. So there's a lot of bias in where we exist. And the way AI works is that it depends on data. So a lot of data which are being generated by our processes, maybe in office or like where in different areas is base data. And then this base data is used to create an AI. So what do we expect here is we expect AI not to be entirely fair. I mean, because even the data generated, the system is not perfect. So I think one of the issue, I think, cons of AI is like it's amplifying the bias that exists in the social, like in our world. They're not really, it's amplifying them in the AI. So you see like like a facial recognition software works well with white male, but doesn't work well with black female. So I think, that's one of the bias. I think that's one of the the cons of AI solution for current situation.
Yes, and I think that has been of concern to most end users. I remember, for example, I don't know if it was an AI, but there is this, a lot of photo apps online now that you can use to draw your cartoon, and I am black. Come on, no matter how much light you pump on my skin, it will glow, and the glow is black, right? And I put my picture in this app, and it draws my cartoon, and I am changed completely into a light-skinned guy. And so I deleted the app, deleted the picture, and I posted that app was racist, right? And I mean, it's something that you've explained. These are some of the challenges we're going to go forward. So we're going to find, and as a follow-up to that, how can we, and I'll come to data science shortly, but as a follow-up to your answer, how can we make sure that this unperfect world or imperfect world of ours doesn't creep into the algorithms that we're going to build for the future? Because the future is sustainable development. Is it to train more people, African people in AI and data science, who would then be able to create algorithms that are more perfect? Is it about the actual data we are getting from the internet? What really will be the solution here?
Okay. So from what I think, the reason is that, for example, issue of maybe racial. So, for example, the AI is becoming, for example, if you like, there's a model called like GPT-3. When you put maybe a female is maybe the most likely, maybe like a nurse or some other names. But if you put a male, it's going to say it's a doctor, because if you look on most of the textual data, like the male is most associated with a doctor and the female is most associated with a nurse. So I think there should be a lot of work in the data engineering processes in removing these biases that exist within data, so that we don't amplify them in the output of the model. So I think there should be the AI solution should consider for inclusiveness for the end users of the solution, so that it doesn't amplify the bias. So I think that like the most of the work should be done in the data process. So so towards it, they don't just take the available data and launch the model. They take the available data, they compare like the distribution of data between groups, and then try to really reduce the bias between the data. So I think that's one of the things which we could help also. I think most of work lies on data. So if we have the data which represent well and underrepresented group, they can really help in creating fair, responsible AI.
Well, this is great. This is great. Thank you so much. And back to you, Daniel. Relating it to data science, obviously, let's use Africa as a test case. I remember sometime back, that was I think earlier this year or last year, you had a community engagement where we were seeking to put Ghanaian food, right, annotating data on Ghanaian food on the internet, and that was to make it more friendly for the algorithm, so that these are the AI engineers or data scientists can be able to pick these images and text and whatever form they are in, and then say, okay, this is Ghanaian food, this is banku, this is okra stew. And what do you think going forward, if we want to put Africa on the map and say, let the algorithms talk more about Africa in the positive light and not just about the negative? What are some of the solutions do you have?
Yeah, I mean that's a very good question, and I think the most important thing is for us to generate more African-centric data, right? So we need to generate more data that would balance the data out there, because we won't, like Noel, I think I've forgotten his name, but as he was saying, yes, Caleb was saying that the most important thing in the process is the data. Okay, so if you have a very balanced data and a fair engineer, you will have an AI that is both fair and then balanced, right? So one of the things in Africa that we have as a problem is there isn't enough data. We are either not generating enough data or not making those data available. Okay. For example, when I was looking for a data set on Ghanaian food, there was nothing like that. That is why I decided to have a hackathon where people can we can create some data on local Ghanaian foods, and we use it to build an object detector. Okay. So if we have a lot of data in the African space that identify Africans, it would some of this problem, because if you have, for example, if you're building a machine learning model and you have an imbalanced data, you have a lot of one side or one class of data, definitely your model's accuracy will be affected because it is not going to be very balanced. The data is not balanced, so your model is not going to be very balanced. But if you have a balanced data, then you are taking care of some of this problem. So generating more data is definitely something in the right direction, and making it accessible for everybody. Some companies in Africa still have data, but they are not always willing to share them. Yes, it could be privacy reasons or some other reasons, but they are not willing to share their data. There are other ways around this. I mean, for example, they can mask some of the data and make it available. But until we have those problems solved, it will be very difficult for us to have balanced AI or machines that will do exactly what we expect them to.
Great. And thank you so much for that. Noel, if I can come back to you, you work with a company in the US, right? Tell us what are some of the challenges you face with regards to some of the work you do when it comes to getting data for some of the work, or in terms of a company coming to you saying, I want this product and I want you to do it in this language for this region of the world. What are some of the challenges you've faced? A real work scenario.
Yeah, so I work for Hikes, which is based in the UK, by the way.
So, oh yeah, sorry,
yeah,
in the UK.
that's totally fine. So yeah, we did actually recently have an issue where our software was only developed for English, but we had a client who was from the UAE and he wanted this same. So ours is a sentiment analysis software, by the way. We take data from all social media handlers and we derive insights, which can be used by social media managers and the rest of the team in order to build their products better. So the issue that we faced is the only language we supported was English. So all our AI models also only supported English. And they came to us with a request saying that we want Arabic now included. So for that use case, we had to build a language detector so that the data that we're ingesting, training our models with is purely Arabic. Second thing is we had to remove any biases that are present because the general sentiment of people when they speak in Arabic isn't great, and the data also isn't very good. It's very skewed against Arabs in general. So that is the second issue. Third thing is, yeah, we had to train our model with the Arabic data. So there had to be a lot of data cleaning involved in it. And the problem is most of the team didn't speak Arabic except me. So it was just, I had to develop a model which could help clean the Arabic data so that could be ingested into into our models and trained in order to develop the AI for it. So yeah, those are some of the problems, and yeah, that's how we tackled it. We had a very small amount of time to build it, but as a team, we just got together and we did it. And that's the most important thing. I think teamwork is the most important thing when you face such challenges. Don't hit a problem alone. Take advice from a lot of different people because everyone has perspectives, and someone's perspective could actually help solve your problem quicker rather than you sticking to your own ideas, right? So yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I like what you said. Do not think about your problem alone. Bounce it off a lot of people. You are going to get lots of ideas. And that's what demystifying AI and data science is all about. So coming back to data science, Daniel, back to Africa. What do you think? Okay, let's take a country like Ghana. What do you think Ghana needs right now? You know the data science process, right? You have the data engineers, you have the data analysts, then you have the data visualists, right? So what do you think a country like Ghana needs right now?
Yeah, so the first thing and the most important thing is education. Okay. Yeah, we need a lot of data engineers, people who aggregate data, put it somewhere that even scientists could use. That is one thing that is very crucial. We need a lot of data analysts that would tease some insight out of the data that can help businesses to make informed decisions. That is very important right now as well. And data visualization is also crucial. So you tell a story in a way that people will get it, right? That is very important as well. So definitely education is the most important thing right now for Africa. If you are to get into the data science and the AI space, the more we know, the easier it will be for us to understand and then try to apply some of these things to our daily lives.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. And back to you, Caleb. What would you say about Africa? Of course, we know that there is not enough data in Africa. Even just a casual research by an internet end user on any topic in Africa, and you'll be finding research from Harvard University, Oxford University and stuff. But there is some level of data. For example, Ghana just did the 2021 population and housing census. Massive amounts of data. I'm sure your country, you would also have country level data available in those skewed, but at least in some level. What do you think we can do to make data-driven decisions in Africa better?
Okay, what can we do to make
Data-driven
repeat your question?
decisions. Yeah,
Okay.
data-driven decisions in Africa better.
Okay, so I think one of the things which you can do is like establishing a data strategy, because as we had like a discussion before, like one of the problem when it comes, one of the key components when it comes to implementing this data-driven like solution is having the quality data. So if you have the best people, but you don't have like effective way of collecting this quality data, you won't have this data-driven solution. So I think one of the key way is, yeah, you can say like education, like people, educating people to be knowledgeable about these data science skills, but also implementing like infrastructure to well collect high quality data that will then used to our data science solution. But I also share one of the experience, like for example, at Neurotech, we really focus on creating conversational AI on African languages. But I only speak Swahili, which is my country language, and English. So how do we approach, maybe for example, even in Swahili, there are very few resources to like even in dataset, even like dataset for language for creating models that we can then use in conversational AI. But we use a lot of augmentation technique. So what we do, for example, there is a state-of-art English model, and then there's like tons of data in English, but there's very few data in Swahili, and there's like almost none tools to do that, to do analysis of the textual data of Swahili. So what we do is we use, for example, open source translation model like Helsinki models. We use translation technique. We are using English models to relabel our Swahili data. So we are using a bit of technique where we are using a combination of English state-of-art models and translation models to translate the data into Swahili, and then it comes with labels to train our models. So I think one of the things that recently Facebook released no language left behind models, which offers 200 language pairs within each other for translation, which I think is a good news for us, because I think at least there are 45 African languages on the translation model by Facebook. And I think you can really use these translation models to create labeled data for African languages, for that specifically for African languages. But I think you can like use a bit of technique that we can really exploit these state-of-art researches and models to come back and improve the infrastructure of data for African languages. Yeah. So that's a bit of from my thought and how we handle it at Neurotech.
Great insights there. Thank you so very much. And you guys are doing a great job. I mean, all of you in all your respective fields, trying to make the world a better place. I mean, for Noel, that example for the person, the company who wanted a product in Arabic was very, very good. And I think in if we can come together and learn, like Daniel was saying, that it's all about education, we can make the world a better place using the power of AI. But if we continue business as usual, then it's definitely going to be a tool for disaster. At this point, I must say, if you're in the audience, you have anything you want to say, any contribution, any questions, you can raise your hands, I'll call you, or you can type them in the chat as well. Feel free to raise your hands, ask your questions or contributions. Raise your hands and I'll call you. And if you can't do that, you can also type your questions in the box. Noel, if I may come back to you, what is applied AI? What is applied AI? Hello, Noel. If Noel is not around, then Daniel, can you take that for us?
Yeah, sure. So applied AI is basically putting what you've done in research into the real world. So it's AI in the real world where people see real value out of. Okay. For example, you do a research in sentimental analysis. You want to find out what your audience think about your product or your service. And then you build a model, right? Until the model reach the general population, or until you put that model into a business or into an application that people can use, right? You don't really see the benefit. Okay. But when you do, it becomes applied AI. Because the AI that you build in your lab is now providing value for customers or for businesses. Okay. So that is applied AI. Just putting the AI out there for other people to use. And then in a way that it will provide some form of value for them.
Okay. So applied AI is basically putting it in value for people to use. So is, okay, let me frame it this way. Is an AI engineer, can an AI engineer be able to do applied AI?
Yeah, of course. I mean, every AI engineer should be doing AI, applied AI. Okay. Basically, when they are putting their AI out there, so it doesn't even have to be only an AI engineer.
Okay.
Any data scientist could do the same thing, or anybody at all who takes a model and then build a product out of it. And that includes software engineers, right? When the AI becomes a product, it is applied AI.
Okay, so a quick follow-up to that. What is the difference between building an AI model and then deploying an AI model?
Yeah, so I think most people say that the hardest part of AI is actually putting it out there for other people to use. So the deploying of AI is actually the hardest part of AI than building an AI. Okay. And those two things are very important. Currently, according to some statistics, about 80% of the AI that is built never get out there into the real world. So it's never deployed, which is not a good thing because a lot of people spend a lot of time building these AI models.
Yeah.
And they need to put these things out there so that other people can benefit from it. That doesn't happen, okay, because it's not been deployed. Okay.
Okay.
More AI deployment as well as just building AI. So building AI, the entire process, the AI process, should end with deployment. Ideally, that should be the case. But there are certain challenges because deployment is usually very difficult. Most people do not even read it. They build a model and then that's it.
Okay. I'll come back to you on that one, but let's go. Yes, let's go to Taiwo. Taiwo says, what are the tech skills required to stay relevant in the coming AI takeover? I think so. Basically, he's trying to say to stay relevant in the AI workspace, what are the tech skills you need to have? And Caleb, can you answer that for us? Oh, hold on a second. If Noel is back, Noel.
Oh yeah, I'm back. Sorry, there's
okay, great. So can you please answer this question for us? What are the tech skills required to stay relevant in an AI workspace?
Well, with the way AI is taking over, I think the best skills you can have is to first know a programming language and very well. Second thing is you should be able to build these AI models, right? And third thing is uh, not just building the model, you should also look at deployability. So skills in those three particular areas will definitely keep you relevant for a long, long time because AI hasn't reached there yet. Ideally, when you look at AI, it is supposed to be able to do all of that, but at the current standard, it can't. So the best way to get ahead of it is to build your skills in these fields, these three particular fields. And I'd like to add to why deployment is difficult. The biggest problem is when you have an AI model, we train it and we test it, and it's done by one person. It's used for one person. When we deploy it to a real world case scenario, it is used by multiple people. So scalability becomes an issue there. And that also has to be taken into consideration so that the system doesn't slow down, the servers don't crash. All of those things have to be taken into account. And that's why deployability is as important as building the AI model. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, that was an amazing answer. Can I also add something on top of it? Just so that
Sure,
something
you can.
very interesting I've been working on exploring on deployability. Yeah, you have two questions, right? The back to back. I think Noel gave a very nice answer. Just to add on top of it, right? One is to stay relevant. There are a lot of new things always that keeps coming. We need to be watchful. We need to look at what's there. Like for example, BigQuery, right, in Google has come up with something called as BigQuery ML. BigQuery ML, you can write a SQL query and train a model right there. Select star from so and so, and then linear regression in the query, right? So that's going to become very popular. Amazon Redshift is planning to do something like that. Azure is coming up with something very similar. There's visualization. There's a lot of new things. We have to keep a watch on what different people are doing. Another new thing that you all have to probably learn, understand is distributed ML. That's a very hot topic. Distributed ML, that's what I'm trying to work on right now. Already I'm working on it. This also addresses your second question about first question about deployability and the part that Noel just mentioned about scalability of applications, right? So a distributed machine learning has two parts. One is the training side of distributed ML. Other one is the serving side of distributed ML. Training side is how can you use distributed technology to train a model. I have 100 million records or rows I want to train. I will send it to a distributed system using TensorFlow distributed learning, right? Distributed ML. TensorFlow has a new package called distributed ML. So you can create a server, create a cluster spec. It will divide the whole data set given into say 20 parts or 5 parts or 10 parts, send it to individual servers for training. It will calculate the weights. If we call it as theta 1, theta 2, theta 2, it will aggregate all the weights, push it back to each of the nodes and retrain again more and more epochs. Finally, when the loss gets minimized, it becomes the final weight. So we now have a common weight that works on every single part of the data set. This is distributed ML in training. There is also distributed ML in serving. This is like how, like if I have a billion transactions in a day, how do I scale my model to work and serve to all these people, right? So you may need to use something like a Kafka. You may need to use a PubSub or something like a integration gateways, API gateways, and then you may have to load balance your solution. You may need a Kubernetes server. Under the Kubernetes server, you may have multiple Docker instances which can automatically scale up, scale down, and then process it. And then there may need to be a model store where dynamically a model is loaded at runtime into the node and prediction is made. You need a data store where all the computed data needs to be written to a data store. So there's a very interesting architectures. Distributed ML is something that is very important, essential, and this is also addresses the problem of deployability and the training aspects of it. So I suggest everybody to take a look at that. And if you have questions, you can reach out to me also. I'll be more than happy to help. But I hope that helps with the answer.
Sorry. Yes, it does. Thanks for that addition. Thanks. Really, really great help. I think Kalibu has an addition to make. Caleb?
Yes. So something I think I would also like to add on the issue of deployment of AI solution, or the issue of AI solution being not deployed. So I think it's also good to start from the very first point. Do you really need AI to solve your problem? Because I mean, nowadays, like AI is the trending world, and everyone want to do AI everywhere. So I think it's also good to, because AI comes with a lot of engineering depth. So in the very first point, before even you really consider like model architecture, deployment and everything, you have to think down, do you really need an AI to do that? And what value will AI do compared to using a normal rule-based approach? So I think you can also start from there. Yeah, and also I think one of the issues I think is data drift. So you took your data, you train your model, and then the model is in production, but I mean, maybe the data you used to train only account for very little of what is in reality. And also the data, there's a change in pattern of data because data isn't static. So I think it's also good to come up with efficient efficient pipeline to really continue retrain your model so that it can really like work with the current scenario. So I think that's one of the current like trending issues is called data centric AI. So yeah, I mean, like clearly like having a data strategy even when you deploy a model in production, because data is not going to be static. So I think that was my contribution to what other speakers have said when it comes to deploying this AI solution.
Great. Thank you very much, Caleb and Prav, if I'm calling the name right, and for that addition. Let's go to Inkuru Kalu. I don't know if that is Inkuruka, but so for all of you joining via the LinkedIn, the link on LinkedIn, kindly change your name when you join, because that is Inkuruka's link that she posted. So you are all appearing as Inkuruka. So just go to the name box, click rename, and then you change. So the question says, what is the difference between an AI engineer and a machine learning engineer? What is the difference between an AI and a machine learning engineer? Daniel, can you take this one for us?
Yeah, that's a close one. Yeah, so basically, I would like to say AI is a huge umbrella. Like Noel said, it includes a lot of things, which include machine learning and deep learning. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes we tend to use the two interchangeably to mean the same thing: AI engineer, machine learning engineer. Okay. They are so close that they could almost be the same. Okay. Have I answered your question?
Yeah. You have. So basically, they are intertwined. You can't really do one without the other, if I get you right.
Yeah, something like that.
Great. And of course, this place is a developing field, so definitely with time, I think it's basically just like having a business administration and having a business management course, right? They both revolve around the same things, but in a very, very big company like Google or Facebook, you would have a business management person deal with specific things, and a business administration person also deal with other specific things. But generally, they all study the same thing, if I get you right, Daniel.
Yeah, so to add to that, one thing too is some of these terms are different to different companies. Okay. So an AI engineer could be doing something different from an AI engineer in Google, could be doing something different from an AI engineer in Facebook or somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though it could be the same title on them, they could be doing different things I mean, still within the bounds of AI, but different things. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the terms are something that are thrown around. Everybody still has his own definition of how things should be, but there is a general understanding of AI, and we know that AI is a large umbrella that include a lot of things, under which there is machine learning and then deep learning.
Great. Thank you so much for that answer. Shima Caleb says he's very impressed learning that TensorFlow and then learning about the TensorFlow distributed ML. He would love to learn more about it, of course. And I'd love to say at Zummit Africa, we have an internship program where we get data scientists and AI engineers into internship. They work on real world products, real world scenarios. So basically what they do is applied AI. And we have some pretty good people, even professors of universities are doing some of their internships with us. So definitely something we'll get around getting to the end of the program. But he also says he's having issues deploying his NLP model, even though he's new to NLP, but he's having issues with deployment. So I would see this one to Noel. What are some of the challenges that come with deploying NLP models?
Yeah, so the biggest problem is scalability. Again, coming back to my previous point, the thing is when we build an AI model, it's usually for a one-person use. But when you have a huge customer base that has to use the model, we have to look at the spreading of the resource, which is basically distributed ML. So we use methods of parallel programming so that we don't take the requests in sequentially, but we take them as parallel threads in order for the AI to work on them and to generate results and generate timely results for the end users. That has been the biggest problem. That has been the biggest issue for us in deployment, and that's how we went about solving it, because we have hundreds and hundreds of customers, but and we have one AI model in one server, so we had to split it across different requests in order to serve all the customers in a timely fashion. So yes, that is the biggest problem in my eyes.
Great. Thank you so much, Noel, for that clarification. And definitely, we're going to, the panelists are all going to post their emails so that you can get in touch with them for further talks and clarification, discussions, what have you. And that will be done a little bit later. But Eric, I think that was Eric from Poland, if I'm not mistaken. How do you improve the process of labeling data? And this is coming to you, Caleb, because you talked about the biases and errors that have to do with data. And he's talking about supervised learning, right? That's classification. So how do you improve the processes of labeling data? Caleb. Hello? Caleb, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I'm thinking of the question. Okay. How do you improve on the process of labeling data? For example, I'll take account. I'll give a testimony, for example, on coming to like intent classification, like a normal text classification with the way we are doing it. For example, we can curate our own examples on what we think, because initially we don't have the data to train the conversation AI. So we use like normal intuition to highlight these are possible ways. This might say, if they want to buy, this is a kind of way they might do. Maybe I want to purchase, I want to do this. But then when it comes to accuracy, you're not counting on issue like spelling mistakes, or maybe it's just like maybe the people have different way of writing this. So one of the techniques we use to really improve the quality of our training data, we're using a tool called text attack. which is basically a text argument. It's used for many purposes, including generating augmented data. So when we have our data set of textual data, we can then use a text attack to increase the virality. So we can introduce those spelling mistakes in your data. So because if you don't account them in your data, it means the model is going to perform very bad on production. So we use those augmentation techniques like text attack to introduce spelling mistake, to remove some words in the sentences. So we account for a lot of possibilities that people might answer the same question. I think the same way with classification. When it comes to like maybe improving the accuracy, you can like consider augmentation technique, but also if you're outsourcing it to because not all the time you're going to really collecting all this data by yourself. So I think if you you introduce some like quality checking in the data collection processes, and just like invest a lot into data engineering to make sure that like to make sure that that is in the quality which is good to result a good accuracy. So I think for myself, that something I think which can be useful is try to look around corners around augmentation technique, but also engineering the data, because if you train your model with bad data, no matter how good your model is going to be, no matter how neural network you do, if you train on bad data, it's going to result biased and model with issues on production. So I think like reasonable amount of time and effort should be spent more on like preparing the data to be in a good quality ready for training the ML. So yeah, you should have some like quality assurance for the data, not only for the model accuracy.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And like I said, so Inkiruka would post the link for the applications for the internships very soon, and also to the data science course that will be running from September. It will all be posted, but as well, I'll urge all of you to post your names and email again so that we can capture them, and then after the program, keep you in the loop through our newsletters and everything. Thank you so much. The discussion has been very, very, very interesting, and I'd want to ask, data science, AI, seems to be something very, very beautiful. In fact, when you see the aspects do it, me as someone who isn't that techy, can I still learn data science or AI from zero experience, right? Zero experience. Can I become an AI engineer or a data scientist? And this is to everyone, all of you, the panelists.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Daniel. Yeah. So I'm a robotics engineer by trade. I have my degree in mechatronics engineering, and so I'll tell my story. So in my third year of engineering, I wanted to set up a startup. It was to build a robotic system for cleaning, and during that time, we ended up hiring someone from the AI side. And I remember him building just a basic chatbot. Okay. And he showed me the chatbot, and it just looked like magic to me. And I remember asking him the same question, because I come from a mechanical and electronic standpoint. So I didn't know to write any code at all till like 2 years back. So I went up to him and I asked him, okay, what is the first step in order for me to be able to write code like this, in order for me to build systems like this, to get into data science and to get into AI? And his solution was simple. The first thing is you need to pick up a language and know it. And the easiest language to pick up is Python. You have the option between Python and R, but preferably most people would pick Python because Python has a lot of other uses also. So you start off with Python. Then you learn about data cleaning. You learn about the processes to get data into a structured manner so that it can be used to build different models. Then next way would be you learn what machine learning is, all the different models that are out there and how people thought about those models, how did they come about, and then you should also learn the skills in order to utilize them. And so that is the general entry path into data science and AI. I know it might sound difficult from the outside, but once you start picking it up, starting with Python and then learning about data in general, it gets easier. It definitely does. And trust me, I was at a stage where I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And now I am an NLP and SDE engineer. So I can tell you that it is possible. It is easy to learn. You just have to put in your time and some interest, and you'll definitely be able to pick all of it up.
Thank you so very much for that amazing experience. I'll come back to Daniel, but for Chima, yes. So the emails are for after when we finish, so that we can be sending you the links and any other information that we think would be great for you. In fact, we have some programs coming up. We actually have an internship program at Zummit Africa, and we also have a data science course that will be launching in September. It's going to be online, available to everyone, anyone around the world. So that's why we need your name and email so that we can be able to send you the information, and also with our newsletter, keep you up to date to what we are doing here at Zummit Africa. Daniel, let me come back to you. You have a pretty interesting story to tell when it comes to your journey to becoming a data scientist and an AI engineer. So let's hear from you, please.
Yeah. I mean, Noah will just outline all the processes. I mean, the steps you need to pass through to become a data scientist or an AI engineer. But I like to talk about the learning part of it, because I believe that every human being out there has the capacity to learn. And if you have the capacity to learn, then all that is required is the willingness to like learn something. Okay. So data science and AI are just another body of knowledge. Okay. And that means that everybody can learn to become a data scientist or an AI engineer. And that comes to my story. So I started out with I was doing information technology in the University of Ghana, but the way programming was introduced to me was very messy. So I decided that was not something I was going to do. It was too difficult. We started with C++. Beginners, and it wasn't fun at all. I had a friend, I had somebody that I could call a mentor who was doing Python back then. And he was showing me all the things he could do with Python. So he introduced me to Python, gave me a resource that I could learn. So I started reading the book about Python. And during those periods, data science was actually raging on. They were calling it the sexiest job of the 21st century. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't something, and around that time, the university was not offering any course in data science. But I told myself I was going to become a data scientist. I didn't even know anything about it. And back then, it was actually considered like a field that was meant for people with PhD. Because of the maths and all those things involved, right? But I told myself I don't have a PhD, but I'm going to learn data science. And with small step by step, resource after resource, I was able to like learn all the things required to become a data scientist today. So everybody has the capacity to become a data scientist. It is just a decision that is required. When you make the decision, then you find a course or a resource that will help you. That is all you need.
Nice. That is awesome. That is awesome, Daniel. One day you have to tell your story. You have to tell it on CNN. or on BBC, you know,
I would
worldwide
love
TV.
to.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And in fact, there are stories of this nature all around us. Caleb, if you can hear me, can you tell us your experience in the AI field till now, and what you can advise those who want to begin?
Okay. So also, I'm not from a computer science background. I remember when I was in high school, my dream was to become a theoretical physicist. So when I'm on YouTube watching Michio Kaku or Brian Greene, I was like, I want to be this one. And then I went to college taking mechatronics engineering. Yeah, I loved robotics. And then college turned out of my expectation. So one day I was watching a movie. So I had no idea of AI. So with mechatronics, what we are doing mostly is C++, C, because we are dealing more with like programming hardware, but it has nothing to do with data or AI or anything. But then once I was watching a movie, and then I was like so impressed with Ex Machina, and my whole dream was like I want to create Ex Machina. I didn't want to do AI, but I say I want to create Ex Machina. So after Googling, I'm like, oh, Ex Machina is AI. And then what I need to do AI, like you need to learn TensorFlow and you need to do this. And so the same. So again, like you need to install Anaconda. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, but I then I was like so passionate, like I want to create Ex Machina. So I went and downloaded Anaconda, and then I began learning the TensorFlow. So the TensorFlow I was learning is not this improved eager execution. It's the TensorFlow was session, so it was a bit hard for me. But then I came to yeah. So that's a bit of my journey. That's how I started, and then I persevered, like learning. I came to another more simple library called Scikit-learn, which offered at least like simple like intuitive API interface for people who are not even like data experts. So with Scikit-learn, you can like quickly learn and understand how you to create these models. So from back then, I then persevered. I remember on my second year, I was able to get an internship as a data scientist. So I was doing mechatronics, but in the second year, I was able to get an internship as a data scientist. And then so since then, I then saw like I could pivot my career instead of doing mechatronics into doing this AI. So and up to this moment, I'm getting internship. I still haven't created the Ava of which I was saw in the movie, but yeah, but like just to tell you, like I wasn't from a computer science background, but one thing I can share is that like right now I run an AI startup. Yeah, I have like people doing machine learning working for me. So I think so what I can tell like for people like as Daniel I've said, like you just have to have the willingness to learn, because nowadays things have changed. So you don't need to, you're not limited by college you study or by people around you. There is internet nowadays, which there's like with internet you can learn the same course. You can take the Stanford course, you can go on Coursera, you can take course from university that people in you, not exactly, but people from lecturer from those top tier universities are teaching. Yeah, and you don't need to really have like, there's this misconception, I think, I don't know, but you need to have like a really strong math background, like to really know the science, because there's a lot of, you need to know the algorithm behind the scene. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important, but I think it isn't necessary. Like it isn't mandatory. I mean, you can go with a top-down approach, whereby in the beginning you don't need to know the math behind. You just need to know you might not even not know what is happening. Just code, make it happen, and then you come lower, and the lower level maybe what was I doing? And then so I think you can go with a top-down approach and a project-oriented approach. Try to do things, and then you can come to understand how they works. And then as you get used to it, then you can get to lower level and understanding the mathematical underlining within those algorithms. So career-wise, to take over to really build your career as a data scientist. I think something I can add is also good, joining a community. Learning as yourself, it can be good, but like you can easily give up when things get tough. But the good thing about joining a community, like I don't know, Zummit or any other data science community, that there are people you can like quickly check in each other, and then you can keep the motivation when things get tough. And also when you need to ask a question, because you're going to face out countless of issues while learning. So I think having a community introduce like a stability to your learning. Perhaps, I mean, you can even learn by yourself, but also you can share your learning, because in the end of the day, when it comes to like getting the jobs, I mean, the things which are these employers considers. So you can also open up a blog or like this free platform like Hashnode. You can open a Hashnode blog, and then you can, as you learn AI, start sharing your journey, because in the end of the day, when you then like reach a stage where you want to get a job, that blog showing your learning, or you can also keep a GitHub repository where you keep all the history of your learning, or you can go on platform like Kaggle, or where you participate in competition. So the point is, like, keep track of your learning, because this is going to be, because if you're not from a computer science background, you don't have a CV to show. So you can use this like blog, like GitHub project that you've done as your learning, or notebooks as your portfolio. So yeah. So I think that's really very useful. I think it really helped me to get myself a career in data science, writing blog, sharing your journey, and being a part of a community that does that.
Yes. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. Writing journals or blogs. And I think Daniel, the last time we were speaking, you were telling me about some of the journals you wrote very early when you were starting your journey. Of course, you said it's been a long time since you visited it, but it's online, and so I think what we can do is possibly share it with the others. Who, yes, thank you. So that's it. AIscript.search.sh. That is the link. Yes. So go ahead. Talk about it.
Yeah. That was my early days when I started learning data science. So I decided, why not put the information out there so that everybody, especially in a very easy to understand way, so that anybody coming into the field will just learn what they need to learn, at least the basics, and then continue from there. So I created this a while ago, and unfortunately, I've not been visiting it. I've not been updating things on the site, but I think most of it are still relevant.
Great. And like Caleb said, it is something very essential. With my own personal story, my rock has been Daniel, really. My rock has been Daniel. We started, I met Daniel when he was in senior high, I think, yes, when he came to the senior high. And we were living in the same neighborhood. And, young boys dreaming together. And he goes to the university and we've been chatting. He'll call me up, Joshua, I have stopped going to lectures. I am learning data science. I am doing this course online. I am doing that course online. And he will be sending me links upon links upon links. Really, I am not that techie or tech-centered. I'm more into the sales and the humanity, the business administration, business management, that side. But over the years, my passion has come to enter into data, really, because interpreting data is the basis for making decisions now. So I came to love the power of data when I began to use the little data at my disposal, when I began to use them in my presentations, when I began to use them to write stuff, and people will see it and be like, yeah, you are making some great points, right? And so from there, I have been trying to start a data science course, and Daniel has been my rock, providing me with resources. So Caleb, yes, what you said about finding people like you is very, very true. Now my biggest hurdle now is to be able to complete the Google data science course, and then I can say that I can enter into Zummit Africa's data science course, because I am not really a techie person, so I want the Google data science course to really, and that's the thing about the data science course that we're bringing into food this September. I want Daniel to talk a little bit about the course, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 6 weeks intensive data science course. It's a live session, so it will be on Zoom, where we will be doing everything. The course will come with a lot of projects that we'll be building. And then most importantly, we'll talk about how to share your journey, how to share whatever you are learning with people who can actually hire you. So how to use LinkedIn, how to write blog posts like Kalibu was saying, how to share your journey so that the people who can help you get help, okay, or even jobs, internships, can discover you. Because for me, that has been the most important thing in my journey. Most of the jobs I got was through LinkedIn. Okay, putting my work out there has been very essential. So that is a very crucial part of the course. One other important thing is the course comes with an internship. So after the course period, you will be given an internship with Zummit Africa. And then other partners. So we have other partners who are also interested in interns. So you intern with an AI company at the end of the course. It's going to be a very enlightening course with a lot of projects. By the time you are done, you at least know how to navigate the data science industry and how to make the most out of your opportunities. So everybody is welcome. Information will be shared about it very soon. I think in Click I'll be doing that. And then you can have access to the links and sign up.
Wow, thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you so much. And it really promises to be an exciting event. And speaking of internships, Noel, you stated that you were at Intern, and in fact that's where you met Jonathan, who happens to be the CEO of Zummit Africa. You were both interns at Zummit Info Labs, and so I'll start with you, Noel, then Jonathan may come in and then also share his experience as an intern. Noel, how was the experience for you? You interned at Zummit Info Labs. How was it? How practical was it, and how has it benefited you now?
Yeah, so I did meet Jonathan as we were interns at Zummit Info Labs, and that was right at the time where I just finished learning up data science and Python and deep learning to a certain extent. But I'd never deployed a model or used it for any case scenarios, like a business case scenario. So as I came into Zummit, I was afraid. I thought I didn't have what it takes in order to succeed in this industry. And Zummit Info Labs was my first foray into the business and into the industry. And with the help of Praveen, of course, and with Jonathan and the rest of the colleagues there, they really helped me go from someone who didn't have confidence in building models to someone who could actually lead a team in a certain project and actually build systems which could really be helpful. So that was my experience with Zummit Info Labs. And from there is where exactly how I landed my next job, because they saw my work there. They asked me about my experience there. They looked at my portfolio through GitHub and the research papers that I published. And through all of that, they saw me as qualified. And honestly, I don't know where I would be if Zummit Info Labs didn't place their trust in me and give me my first shot into the industry. So I'm definitely in debt to them. Yeah, and of course that's where I met Jonathan too. Me and Jonathan, like I remember Jonathan was a data science lead in one of the projects, and I was under him. And in another project, I was the lead and he was under me. So yeah, it was a fun experience working with Jonathan, definitely.
Great. Jonathan, can you come in here and then tell us about your experience as well? I mean, Noah talked about his fear and how he was able to overcome it, and how the experience was what led him to his current job right now. So let's hear from you as well.
Okay, thank you very much. It was actually an honor to meet with Noel, and big ups to Pravin. So the truth is, I started learning AI, and at some point I felt I should put these skills into use in the industry, and I started searching for jobs and internship opportunities. But I really found any in Africa. I really found in Nigeria. I really found even in South Africa, and so my best bet was to apply for remote opportunities. And when you apply, it's not that you don't have what it takes to be an intern. Intern is like the least, right? But everyone wants you to have experience of some sort to join an internship program, and they're saying come and join internship so you can get experience. So which comes first? Well, I met with Zummit Info Labs, and it was amazing. I applied for the internship, and I practically got to meet with Pravin on the same day I applied, and we had a call, and I told him about my experience, the little I've done, and it was very encouraging. Like, oh no, come on board. It's be great to have you. And I joined Zummit Info Labs, and it was quite an interesting experience. I got to meet with, sometimes the scenery you meet in the workspace is different from when you're practicing on your own. You might know these things, but it's a different experience when you have to work with a team. So I worked with the team, worked with the team lead. I was always participating, always actively delivering on tasks, no matter how small they were. And so it was quite an interesting experience. Then by the end of the internship, I felt, come on, I got this opportunity. Let me introduce others in Nigeria to the opportunity. And I introduced some folks from Nigeria, and they joined in. And the interest was massive. So we don't have this in Africa. Why don't we just start? Why don't I just start a startup, and where we give people the opportunity to practice AI, to intern in companies and boost their career dreams as AI engineers or data scientists. And I spoke with Pravin, of course, and Noel has always been like what would I say, a cheerleader. He has always been cheering me on from the start when we started Zummit Africa, and it has been an interesting experience. So, like Joshua has been saying from the start of this discussion, we give internship opportunities to people who have a level of knowledge in this space. However, we've seen that the data is skewed towards a lot of people not having experience. They don't have what it takes to apply to work as interns in the organization. So to solve that problem, we decided to start a course that Daniel talked about. So I don't want to go about repeating what we've been saying. So all we're saying is, for us to democratize here in Africa, we need to first be educated, and that's what we're trying to do now: educate people, give them the opportunity to work, put their skills into use, and be able to put Africa in the map of AI superpowers of the world. So that's my experience. Thank you, Josh.
Great experience. And I want to ask you, Zummit Africa has been operating for 1 year now, and how has it been so far? Can you tell us some of the interesting things you've encountered, as far as, like, we were talking about the myths of AI, the costs of doing business in Africa as a company that wants to deploy AI, and the future, the opportunities the future holds?
Okay, that's a big question. So I would say Africa is one of the least adopters of technology. When the dot-com era came about, everyone in the US, in Silicon Valley, I'm sure Pravin is very aware of it, wanted to have a dot-com, and according to what I read, VCs would invest in your company if you just have a dot-com. Like you have an internet, people can connect to you via the internet. Even if you have a very shitty product, you have investors trooping in to invest in your company because you have a dot-com, right? And but took years before we had a dot-com in Africa. And similarly, so I always mention China. So I read a book, AI Superpowers, and China and US are always in loggerheads, who has more power in AI. But they are building steps to getting to become a superpower. India is one of them now. And in my experience so far, it has not been as easy. For instance, when we're starting up, we thought that would come on board and start working on different projects for different organizations, helping them to start incorporating AI in their businesses. But it has not been forthcoming, right? So there's this apprehension where people feel AI is going to take over their jobs and they will have nothing to do. But on the other hand, AI is supposed to assist these jobs and give humans more time to be productive with more healthier activities, automate things. So the story has not been quite easy, but instead of dwelling on common Africa is too backward, we're not thinking forward. We are, on the other hand, building tools to make it easy to implement AI. So we're building a system where startups, organizations can easily tap into the power of AI through pre-trained models and AI APIs where they can just use. So we will not have to go to meet them or come, let's integrate your system, let's transform your workflow with AI. They don't need that anymore. They can always go to products and pick up any API they want and use, and these are enabled by AI. So eventually, like I said, we'll get there. We'll get to a system where Africa uses AI a lot. We'll get there, but it will take time. So what we're doing now is we're building a system where once Africa is ready to grab the technology full scale, we'll be there. We'll be like the Google in this space, in the AI space here in Africa. So no one can fight with Google when it comes to search engine. They own, right? Even if they have other competitors, they're just little, they have no significance at all. So we are staging ourselves to be kind of the Google of AI in Africa. We're making it. We've been able to train a number of people in our AI courses, and some of them already have jobs as AI engineers or data scientists, and in other industries, also software engineering as well. So we are fulfilling our mission to democratize AI by training people, and people are getting experience and benefiting from the program in general.
Great, great, great. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for that. In fact, this is very, very inspiring. And as I listen to your story, you talked about one critical thing. Africa is a growing market. Of course, the free trade area is even making it the biggest single trading area in the world currently, and is projected to hit or to go through the roof by 2030. Looking at what you talked about as being difficult deploying AI models as companies and everything. So what you are doing is providing a sort of a marketplace so that all the startups and big companies that are located in Africa can just be able to plug in and then use your API. So how does this help the average person who wants to be an AI engineer?
Okay. So one thing about AI, Kalebu did this. Daniel did.
And please excuse me. So before you go on, I'd want to tell Habibu. Habib, kindly get ready. You're going to tell us your experience as an intern. in Zummit Africa. So yeah, Jonathan, continue.
Okay, so I was saying Kalebu did this, Noel did this, Daniel did this, I did it. So we build models, right? When you're learning, you learn project and you build models and you don't deploy them, they end in your laptop or in your. But with the what we're developing now, we are giving we're trying to make building models more productive in the sense that if you deploy your models to our platform, you can make money from it, right? So you've developed a very nice model and you feel that there will be a lot of use cases in the industry, whether it's in the aviation, whether it's in marketing, finance. You just built an AI model in any of these industries and you feel that people benefit from it and you want people to use it, right? So we're building a platform where you can be able to put those products, AI in form of API, and generally anyone can come and use it. So for instance, Kalebu was talking about their models in Swahili and the data sets that they're developing. So one of the opportunities that this product we are building will give to people is helping them to be able to upload these different data on the platform and people using it. So we kind of make it easy and accessible for everybody. A hub where people can get AI APIs and plug into their systems and get inference from it in real time. And people can also monetize the models they built in real time. So it's interesting if you build something and you can make a living from it, from just putting it somewhere and money is coming in regularly without you monitoring all the time. So that is one thing or that's one opportunity that this platform we're building will afford us, or we afford our users or startups.
Great. And it's such a good thing, right? Providing the platform for AI engineers to build models and deploy them, use them in real world situations to solve real world problems. And obviously, the triumph of Zummit Africa will then bring down that horrible statistics, right? 80% of models that are built are not used in the 80% of models that are built are not used in real world scenarios. So we look forward to the wonders that Zummit Africa will do and transform Africa. I mean, Africa is basically supposed to be the food basket of the world because we are by far the biggest continent in terms of land mass and fertile land, really, when it comes to growing crops, and also very good labor force, being the biggest continent with the hue. By 2020, we're going to have the biggest labor force in terms of young people in the entire world. So definitely what Zummit Africa is doing is definitely contributing to making Africa a better place. Habib, just before we end, in just about 3 minutes or less, can you please tell us how your experience has been?
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, are you hearing
me? Yes, please.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't expecting you to call me, so I wasn't sure if it was me. So, but good evening, everyone. It has been a really wonderful, insightful session. So, just quickly, being at Zummit Africa has been, it has been an eye-opening experience. I believe I want to really commend CEO Mr. Jonathan, because I feel based on what he explained about his experience at Zummit Info Labs, I believe he has been able to replicate it really well here, because the balance between work and learning has really been really great. I have gotten to work on actual projects and something I've not been able to. I've done courses. I did an internship and it was more like learning and did everything. That was just my first introduction. But with this present internship that I just went, it was really I was able to work on projects. I was able to learn new things. I'm always learning new things. While working on projects, you're learning things. So that's just the best experience because it's a win-win. You're working, you're getting that experience, and you're still learning things that will help you later on in life. Not just maybe with the AI part, also with the work environment, daily stand-ups, things that you need to work on a project. You have deadlines. Okay, you have to submit here, you have to submit then. Like working in a team, having to lead teams and be one of the members. It's just an interesting process that shows you that okay, there's unity and it's possible, showing you that okay, it's possible that AI can really change the world, and not just the world, like Africa here, where we are, where we live. Like it's actually possible if we just come together and put our hands together. So it has really been a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Habib, for that nice experience. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid, but our time is up. I'll give the last word to Jonathan, but before I do, I would say thank you so much, our panelists, Caleb and Noel, and then Daniel, for that conversation. And our audience, you have been so very grateful. The discussion has been great. Your questions have been very, very awesome. And I hope that we have been able to answer or do justice to it. Once again, we'll be sending you the link to the data science course will be starting in December and in September, sorry. So do continue to stick around. Expect to see our newsletters and notifications from us. And once you get it, just start the message so that it doesn't enter into your spam. And that's it. So Jonathan, I would leave the final words to you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. I think I enjoyed this session. I really, really did enjoy this session. It was interesting. So I've not had breakfast. I've not had breakfast, and I just sorry, Josh, I'm going to do this to you, but I'm going to eat Nigerian jollof after this call, and of course, that means I'm going to enjoy my. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you very much, Kalibu. I called on you and saw your work on LinkedIn, and it has been interesting getting to know you guys. And I look forward to working more with you all. Like it's not just Africa; it's the whole world. I look forward to working with everyone here, and we'll always be there for each other. We'll be here and we keep growing. So thank you very much. Pravin has left the call. I would have loved to give him special recognition. He answered, of course, he came in to talk about Kafka and all that, and it was blowing my head. And so it has been quite amazing. Thank you, our participants. Everyone, we can't mention your name, so we are out of time. But we'll definitely still be here. We'll organize events like this that will be meaningful and practical, not just talking, but implementing our talks. So do have a very great day. Enjoy yourself wherever you are. And thank you very much again. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for coming. See you on the bright side. Bye-bye.
Bye, man.
Save chats before you lose them. Save chats.
Yeah.
Save chats before you lose them.
Okay.
When you finish the meeting.